Civil rights movement Not In My Name wants police to probe how Mia Kuhn's body ended up on the grounds of Hoërskool Garsfontein in Pretoria. The grade 10 pupil's body was found by a security guard on Tuesday morning. The organization's spokesperson Mo Senne joins us now via Zoom to just give us their reaction to the sad news. Mo, thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. Just first of all, in terms of finding out, it's already sad and devastating to find out that a young person has been killed, right, and then found in the school grounds. Do you have any concern, as Not In My Name, in terms of community infrastructure, such as schools, sometimes being used for crime?
Definitely. I think it's a very bizarre story because that it happened on school grounds. We hear these kind of stories almost every day, where children are dumped around fields or in open areas. But this one sets up a concern, especially in the line of reporting, that nobody knows what happened. And the other thing is that she was found by a security guard. So the reason that we also wanted a probe towards the school security system is to find out who has access to the schoolyard, especially right now since schools are closed. And if the security personnel only found her in the morning, are they suggesting then that nobody is working at the school? And if nobody was working at the school at the time, is there like a possible hole or a fence that's cut or breach in security system? So you can't say that you don't know how a child ended up at school when it's supposed to be school holidays. And that's another point, that she was a pupil of the school. So that is more than just a coincidence for us, that she was a pupil of the school and then she was found at the school. So that's why we wanted the police to conduct a thorough investigation to answer several questions, more than the ones actually that we have on the press release. And one of them was that what was the last known location of the child? And a certain radio station reported that the family apparently said they last saw her at midnight. So now that brings up more questions as well, you see. And who's the last known person? Child, who was she talking to? What are the schedules of the security personnel? And that will answer how the body ended up there, because she's a child. She couldn't have accessed that on her own. And another thing with the style of reporting, and this is not just with media, with the Department of Education, is that all they're saying is they found a body. You're not telling us, was it suicide, was she maimed? All the other headlines, when you tell us that something happened, it's always, this happened, she was slit, or there's injuries. There was nothing with this particular case. So the mystery and the concealment of it is what worries us.
I think maybe they're just waiting for autopsy results to let them know exactly what happened, because it seems as though she was found with no injury, but unresponsive, obviously, on the school grounds. And this is during school holidays. I think for me, that's the other concern that, I agree with you on when it comes to the security around this type of infrastructure. But talk to me about, the other stakeholders in these types of cases. It's also not the responsibility of police or the school or the education department, in fact, when it comes to things such as murder, etc. It's also a societal issue. Somebody must have seen something, right?
That's always the case. There's somebody who knows something all the time. And this is something that Not In My Name speaks out against, the bystander effect. When you see that there's something wrong that's happening, when you can intervene, but you don't want to. There's this thing that people have, that you don't snitch, or you don't get into people's businesses. But that's exactly what perpetuates some of the criminal behavior that we see in society, because you're counting on the fact that whoever you is not going to say anything. The other thing is that while I understand that people don't want to get hurt themselves or put themselves in danger, but call the police, call somebody, do something. Don't just sit there. And then when you see cameras, you want to come, I actually saw that there was something wrong. In fact, I think this is a perfect opportunity to tell people that the 3 GBV bill have now been amended to say, if you know that there's something wrong that's happening, of domestic abuse, sexual assault, anything like that, and you don't report it, you are thus an accomplice to crime. So this thing of people wanting to speak only after the fact, when they see cameras, when they want to be the only ones who may have had insight onto what the story is criminal.
It's an accessory, basically, that you're talking about. Let's talk about those particular changes to acts. I mean, at some point, even the Education Department, for instance, has made a rule that teachers and principals have to also report to the police station if an underage child comes to school pregnant, right? And they find out that that child's, that the child was impregnated by someone much older than them, and it's statutory rape. So we have all of these laws that actually are there to assist us, but we don't use them.
That's what's unfortunate. And I think it also speaks much to how the law itself is implemented. You know, you think about going to the police station to file charges, but then the way that police also conduct these investigations, or their line of questioning, and how it almost equates to secondary victimization, discourages people. And so, yes, we do have great laws on paper. And yes, maybe we may not be using it, but I'm always going to say that if we don't have the right personnel that are the ones that are dealing firsthand with these sort of charges, then people are not going to be motivated to do anything. I mean, as an estimate only, we have 115 rapes reported a day, but how many of those people actually get past the police and go to and gets to trial? You see, so the justice system itself on paper looks great, but it is not encouraging to everyday civilians to actually press charges, because some of the police don't even know which charges to put there. You have to tell them, yo, my guy, this is what happened to me. This is what the law says, and it turns into an argument. I can attest to that, because we accompany victims all the time to open up charges, and we are the ones who have to then direct the police to say what kind of charge this is. So the personnel itself are not trained enough to deal with some of these cases, and that's why we've also had programs around educating police, especially with the high number of them that have not attended their own mandatory GBV training. So I don't want to blame society only. I want to also say that the police are not capacitated.
All right, Mo, thank you so much for your time. Not in my name, spokesperson Mo Senne, speaking to us there about the death of Mia Kuhn. She was found dead at a school field in Pretoria.